What if I were to tell you that in the year of our Lord of 2023, that the Nintendo GameCube would arguably be at its peak in terms of hotness? You would say, RGT, that's as crazy as saying that you're a Nintendo YouTuber, because, well, I'm not a Nintendo YouTuber, but in actuality, the GameCube is arguably as hot as it's ever been, and that's really because of the resurgence of GameCube titles getting remasters or remakes. Now, we've seen 2 games that fall in line with this. Technically, we've seen 3 games that fall in line with this. Tales of Symphonia Remastered, pretty half-assed, but they didn't remaster the GameCube version of the game. They remastered the inferior PlayStation 2 version of the game, so that's a story for another day. But the other 2 games have been vastly more exciting and vastly in higher demand. Of course, we're talking about Metroid Prime Remastered and Resident Evil 4 Remake, both opposite ends of the spectrum here. A remaster is just an update of visuals and usually controls for an older game, whereas a remake is taking the source material and then kind of building a new game and a new engine around it. Now, both of these games have been on the top of Metacritic for 2023, with Resident Evil 4 coming out very soon at the time of the filming of this video, and Metroid Prime Remastered already have being released. Of course, Baten Kaitos is getting some more stuff, but now we're going to throw another game into this mix here. Now it seems like another game is indeed coming. It could be coming this year, and it looks like we have a developer for it. But I have some questions about this. I'm not gonna go jump off the deep end and say I think that this new rumor is true, all this speculation is true, but I wanted to update you guys on it because, well, I've been seeing it all over the place. All of a sudden, everyone's talking about this GameCube classic getting a reimagining. I guess it would probably be a remaster, similar to what we saw with Metroid Prime. And that game is, of course, F-Zero. Now, where F-Zero and Metroid Prime differ is in that Nintendo never really forgot about Metroid. Yes, there's been droughts of Metroid, but the drought of F-Zero is unlike anything that we've seen in a lot of titles. Like, even Kid Icarus got another game before we got another F-Zero game after F-Zero GX on the Nintendo GameCube. But F-Zero GX on the Nintendo GameCube is a game that still holds up extremely well today. It runs at 60 frames per second. This game is a blistering game. It offers progressive scan mode if you have a GameCube and either the component cables or one of those newly fandangled adapters that you can get that, you know, different companies make them. But this game still looks absolutely gorgeous. Granted, of course, it is in a 4:3 aspect ratio. Widescreen would have been better, but it's still a game that has definitely held up very well. This game was actually done by Sega and published by Nintendo, and a lot of people consider this to be the best F-Zero game. I sure as hell do, because I wasn't really a huge fan of the Super Nintendo game. Like, it was cool, like the music was cool, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the Super Nintendo game. The GameCube game was superiorly better in my eyes. But we've talked about F-Zero and the potential of F-Zero GX being another GameCube game coming to the Nintendo Switch. But there's a new bit of information that's been circulating. But now we have information on who is potentially developing this Nintendo Switch game. And that's where I start to have some questions. So this information is coming to us from a Nintendo YouTuber by the name of Nintendo Prime. Like, you can't argue that you're a Nintendo YouTuber. Nathaniel Rumpelstiltskin Jank, like that's his name. That's not really his name, but that's what I call him. But yes, he has came up with information that is being presented as what he feels is correct in this. He has some sources that are telling him this information, and it appears that the developer of this game is going to be Next Level Games. Now, this is really asking us to do 2 different things. It's, of course, asking us to believe in the fact that there is an F-Zero GX remake, probably a remaster, let's be realistic with this, but also it's leading us to believe that Next Level Games is the one doing it. Now, you know, nobody has a perfect track record. You know, I know that Nintendo Prime did say back in like 2021 that he had seen a Nintendo Switch Pro dev kit, and then that obviously never happened, but he has been right, you know, about a few things there, here and there. So, you know, it's not, I'm not going to completely write it off, but Next Level Games to me doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really make sense that this would be the company handling this, especially when you kind of look at their catalog of games. All right, so here's what Next Level Games has done. Of course, this company is owned by Nintendo as of 2021, and these are the games that they have done in their time since 2003. Obviously, you know, they were a multi-platform company. Back on the Wii era, they started focusing more so on Nintendo stuff. Doc Lewis Punch-Out, super good game. And, you know, Punch-Out was a great game too. Of course, Mario Strikers Charge, the superior game to the Switch version we got. But we also have games like Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, Luigi's Mansion 3, Mario Strikers Battle League. Now, what's interesting about some of this stuff is that this company, Next Level Games, didn't actually do the port of the original Luigi's Mansion that ended up coming to the Nintendo 3DS. All of these games are actually like new games. Like none of these are remasters, none of these are remakes, and I'm not saying that that completely makes this rumor, you know, null and void, but I think it is worth mentioning. And when you look at sort of the gap between their games, like let's take a look here. Ever since 2013, from 2013 to 2016, they had one game, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, and the amazing Metroid Prime Federation Force, literally the game that almost killed the Metroid franchise. So shout outs to you guys. Then of course we had Luigi's Mansion 3 in 2019, a complete return to form for Next Level Games, one of the best looking games on the platform in my opinion. And then another 3-year gap, we got Mario Strikers Battle League, another stinker of a title. So if they are doing F-Zero GX, you know, judging by their repertoire here of every 3 games or every 3 years releasing a proper game that's, you know, actually good, and then, you know, they have a stinker right after that, this game would be the game that was going to be good. But like I said, they've never done like a remake or a remaster or really a port of anything. They've always developed new stuff when it comes to you know, any platform, the Nintendo 3DS or the Nintendo Switch within the last decade. So I don't know. I do think that F-Zero GX has a good chance of getting a remaster. I think it would just be, you know, something a lot simpler than what we got with Metroid Prime Remastered. To me, F-Zero GX, you could just upscale that game to 1080p, keep the 60 frames per second, add in online multiplayer, and I think everyone's happy at a $40 price point with that game. And a lot of GameCube games sort of lend themselves to that sort of magic, you know, whether we're talking about Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD. These, of course, were originally GameCube games that ended up releasing on the Nintendo Wii U with HD versions of the game. Hopefully, we get those HD versions on the Nintendo Switch, because I would love to play through those games once again, but maybe I could play it on that little doohickey there, because it does play Wii U games. Oh, we'll talk about that in the future though, because I'm not quite ready to reveal that bad boy. But yeah, so it's an interesting discussion. It's an interesting discussion. Do I think Next Level Games is the company that's doing it? I mean, you can pretty much toss a coin at this point in time. I do think F-Zero GX is a game that is in development. I don't feel like Next Level Games would be the company to handle that. I just don't see them being the company. And you could say, well, you know, Retro never did anything before Metroid Prime, but Retro made Metroid Prime. You know what I'm saying? Like they're the company that did the original game, so it would make sense that they would do the remaster. Whereas Sega originally made this game, so would they be given to Next Level Games? And Next Level Games obviously has a big gap between their catalog of stuff. I don't know. I don't know. At the end of the day, it's just speculation, but it's a hot topic, so I wanted to bring up this information with you guys, and we'll see if Nintendo Prime got it on the money, if this is a real game and Next Level is the company doing it, and then you got to put stock into what the man says after that. But let me know what you think of this in the comment section down below. Do you believe what this is being said, that this is a game, Next Level Studios is the one doing it, or do you think, no, maybe it is a game, but Next Level isn't doing it? Maybe it doesn't exist at all, even though GameCube stuff's hot right now, man. It's hot in the streets. And as always, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit the bell notification as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.